telling Bronson of all like the characters I think they could make a cool movie, show, or whatever out of is Grievous. I just think it's funny. He's trained in all forms of Jedi fighting, but he really just uses like that little helicopter.
Yeah. Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to another episode of the Murphy Street Podcast. I am Murphy. I'll be hosting today. With me, as always, are my two guys. On my left, Bronson. Bronson, tell everybody what's up.
What's up, everyone?
And on my right, my guy CeeLo. CeeLo.
Hey, what's up?
As always with Murphy Street, shoes and slippers at the door. Now you come inside and let's talk story. All right, guys, follow our page. You would have seen that we went on what we like to call a Murphy Street Excursion. This past week, we went to Moanalua Valley and we did the trail hike there. I'll throw it to you guys. Well, how'd you guys like the hike?
It was good. I liked it. It was my first time there. I like lush hikes.
What about you, CeeLo?
It was great. It was really pretty. It had the cool ruins of that home that was there.
Let's go to CeeLo first, since we went to you first. CeeLo, did you get a chance to review the shots that you took?
On my camera, I have not edited them or gone through them on my computer yet. I'll try to post them in the next couple days.
What about you, Bronson? I know you took a bunch of shots on.
I like those mossy shots I took with creatures from Princess Mononoke.
Yeah. For those of you guys who didn't watch the video, every time we go on an excursion that we take pictures of our figures, we all promised when we find that spot, we're going to go ahead and take a mashup shot. Now, the first one from Ho'omaluhia was pretty dope because that one incorporated Bronson's Jurassic Park set. I put in there the Stormtrooper Commander, and CeeLo put in there. Actually, did we use two different killer clowns?
I know we used Spiky. I don't remember if we used the second one in the big mashup picture.
But now on the second one, if you saw it, it was pretty dope, and I actually gave you a pretty good like layered shot. It starts with Bronson's two girls on the front.
It's actually one girl, one boy. Haku's a boy.
Right, so it starts off with two children in the shot, and of course, like just in front of them, staring straight through their souls, is Pennywise.
Yep.
And in the backdrop behind him is Baby Yoda looking to eat his little frog, and behind him is the ghost that we could never figure out the name. Yeah,
little alien guy.
The UFO alien looking guy. So, all right. So, what I wanted to move into now was the news that Star Wars: The Clone Wars, this past one, the final season, season 7, has birthed the news of a spinoff. If you watched episodes 1 through 4 in this final season of the Star Wars: The Clone Wars, you got to meet and more than likely fell in love with the Bad Batch. And so fantastic news came out today that we'll be seeing more of them.
They didn't release too much news on it. I'm glad they did it.
Right.
I had a feeling they would based on how they structured the last season of the Clone Wars. They had two arcs that didn't really relate too much to the finality of that show.
Right.
They're just cool. It's just a squad of stormtroopers. But yeah, the way it was described though is experimental, which I thought was a little different. But I'm excited. Like they made fun characters. I think Echo's gonna be with them, I'm assuming.
Right, well, because that's how we ended.
Yeah, but I think it's good news. That had a lot of potential, and it looked like David Filoni's gonna be in charge of it, and I've really liked what he's done so far.
In the Bad Batch, you have Hunter, who's the leader of the team, and he's also a tracker. Wrecker, who's kind of like the big, I don't want to say oaf necessarily, stats-minded Tech. Tech was a cool character, and I think his was one of the helmets that I really dug. His was the one that had the little visor that came down, right? Also, Crosshair. Now, Crosshair I like especially because he had that thing around his, basically like a crosshair look on his eye. What do you hope to see from the Bad Batch?
I would like to see them incorporate the Bad Batch with like the legacy films, I would say.
Sure.
But just knowing like their storyline and who they really are. Because we didn't really see much of them in the Clone Wars.
So you're hoping for more depth on
all the characters.
Yeah, and even as a matter of fact, you're right. No, you're absolutely right. Like understanding why they are the way they are. Like, are they experimental? Yeah, exactly. Like, were they just like the crappy cookies in the bunch, or were they trying to make them stronger on purpose? What about you, CeeLo?
I think there's three ways they could go about it. Obviously, start with the origin story, what they were doing with them. Easiest way they could go. Second way, they either remove their chips somehow because they listen to Rex and Fives about.
That is a good point. What happens to them during Order 66?
Yeah. Or you see what happens, and they kind of take that very popular view now of following the bad guys and seeing how that's going.
The anti-hero approach.
Are they used to go hunt down scattered Jedi?
Right.
Would you guys have preferred if they did the Bad Batch as a live action or keep it as animation? Just
I'm okay with animation because it kind of carries on that Clone Wars feel to it.
Yeah, Clone Wars has created their own little following to them as well.
Because I think it's risky to bring Ahsoka out of that realm.
Also happy throwing this to Bronson that we found out that we will be getting Bad Batch Black Series, which is what I asked for as well. And if Black Series is coming out, you can bet your sweet Mos Eisley's that a Funko Pop line is not too far behind as well.
I'm happy and sad about that because that's just more money I'm gonna.
Yes.
I feel like Funko's gonna release the good stuff before Black Series.
And that's
always the case.
I was just gonna say, and that's what happens.
To be fair, they're a little less intricate than they are as
They're probably
Black
easier.
Series.
But you know what? I will say this: Funko Pop is stepping up their game. Like the poses are getting more dynamic. What I meant to talk about last episode, totally forgot. So I failed all of you guys who watch us and live here in Hawaii. Kapolei Commons was actually hosting a drive-in, and the movie that they were hosting was Star Wars Episode 1: The Phantom Menace. But I wanted to chop it up with you guys about Star Wars Episode 1: Phantom Menace because I don't know where you guys were in '98. But we weren't necessarily acquaintances at that point in time. So, Bronson, let's start with you.
Ooh, man, I remember as a kid, the toy line coming out in like KB and Toys R Us. And I remember seeing an image of the young Yoda, which is now, which was a puppet in the first release of Episode 1.
Right.
And then they digitalized and CGI'd him out. Remember, everybody was hyped about Episode 1.
Yeah, well,
everybody's like, wow, we get to see a kid version of Darth Vader.
So what about you, Cena? What was your take on Star Wars Episode 1?
I was super hyped to see it. Yeah, it was exciting for it to come out. I think as a kid I enjoyed it more than I did as I kind of got older.
Sure, I can see that.
Yeah, as a kid, like I was super excited because Star Wars, it was always fun, but it kind of brought it back to the forefront.
Right. The biggest thing for me that I remember was the hype of the toys because I was into toys at that point. You know? And when Episode 1 came out, like that was the first time I was part of that initial hype. I remember, one, I loved the look from the very moment that I saw him. I love the look of Darth Maul, and I love the fact that I love the way they made that card. And when the movie came out, I had this was the first time I was studied. I had a PhD in the Phantom Menace before it came out. I wanted to ask you guys, what was your most memorable scene from that movie?
When Anakin first introduced C-3PO. To me, that kind of took it to because C-3PO has always been one of my favorite characters. I like the look of him, and just to see him
stripped down,
naked version. Yeah. I thought that was pretty cool. To me, that was kind of iconic.
I think as a kid, the one thing I got drawn to was the pod racing. As an adult, going back and watching it, it's the scene where they...
it's obviously the scene where Qui-Gon tackles Jar Jar Binks because he's done it, right? Is that what
No, it's Anakin and then the Darth Vader shadow behind him.
Yes. Yeah. Is it called foreshadowing? Or is that post-shadowing?
Post-shadow.
Right?
We'll go with post-shadow.
And we're going to wrap it with our favorite segment, What's on My Table?
So what I have here on my table is world's smallest Transformers. And it's the G1 Bumblebee and G1 Optimus. Can't really see it.
I'll
That's what happens when it's the word small. World's smallest.
I mean,
let's move on to CeeLo.
Pretty much just a glow-in-the-dark Kylo. The reason I brought this, other than his droopy lightsaber, is pretty much because he may be a relic in the near future. If you go by online rumor, we may be forgetting about this last trilogy that came out under Kathleen Kennedy.
Oh, if that happens, then we're going to have a sequel.
Yeah, requel.
Requels. Yep. You heard it here first. Murphy Street Podcast. Just glows in the dark, though. So what glows in the dark?
I'm not sure. I haven't tested it, but I'm assuming the red.
The cracks. Yeah. All right. Well, guys, that'll wrap it up for our for this episode. Until the next time we see you guys, take care. Keep your ear to the ground. Remember the words that we teach you, and don't forget your slippers. Aloha.
Aloha.